Do 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 do. Sweet. All right, let's finish this game. It's not working. What the heck? Oh, there it goes. All right.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Hello, Trade Vlogs. How you doing? The Red King's Dream. Hope you're doing well. Lewis Fench. I think we already did this one.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober,
yeah.
I believe Lewis first noticed.
This game is called the Tales. Wait, I don't know what it's called. It's called What Remains of Edith Finch. So it's a game about this girl named Edith, and she was an orphan, or no, we actually discovered that she's part of this family. They have this house that she never knew any of the answers, like she never knew anybody in her family except her mom and her grandmother, and I think so far everybody's dead, and she's much older now, and she's going back to the house, or she's going to the house, and like each room in the house has somebody in your family tree's story. Like, so we figured out Gus, Gregory, like all these people are her family, are part of her family tree, and we're doing Lewis right now. Dawn we're missing, and then Edie is another one we're missing. So, but like each story you discover in like a thing. So like this is the story of Lewis, as you will see, and how he died.
Of his daily life.
And like each story is like pretty cool and like actually interesting and unique little game.
But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Wonder. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
Oh.
Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously.
It's hard doing both of these at the same time.
But he found something more.
Hey, it's 3D.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee.
Oh yeah.
Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
We're not gonna be able to see in a second. It just keeps
He told me
getting
he'd
bigger.
made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
I kind of just like have a thing for
He built the city up slowly.
artistic
brick by
games. And it was just on it was like on a Steam sale. I always see this on the Steam sales. And I love games that have like different art styles and little story games. Yeah.
Then he made musicians.
Plus my friend actually, I told him about it, and he actually bought it. So I was gonna wait,
And songs
and
for him to play.
he told me it was a really good
He
game.
talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Hey, Mario. Oh, I'm supposed to
They
keep
begged
walking.
him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh, the
He'd
chopping
conquer a city, then immediately push on.
is different now.
New Louisville. St. Louis.
I get that. New
We
Louisville.
started drifting
St.
away
Louis.
from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the
Minneapolis.
cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Okay.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a...
Handsome queen.
Handsome queen.
Nothing against the prince, but
The queen was on her own quest for
radiant rainbows.
radiant rainbows.
Whoa.
He followed the sound of her
Oops. Electric sitar, dude.
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
I can't see.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Oh my gosh.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Pretty cool. Hello, everybody.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
I love the text in
And then
this
it struck
game.
him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon,
How they have it
but
like
the one
created.
climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Oops.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Oh, this is I think this is actually Lewis in the cannery. Yeah.
Began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Ugh.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Always somebody else?
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Oh, we're the psychiatrist. I
The
think.
palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Whoa. It's Molly the cat. It's pretty cool.
queen waited, holding his crown.
Oh no.
There was only one thing left to do.
By the way, if the game's too loud, or if I'm too loud, or if it's too quiet, if I need to make adjustments, just let me know.
Bend down his head.
This dude put his head in the thing.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Wow.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Your brother got his head chopped off like a fish.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch. On
Yeah,
the way
we-
back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
We're going through the house already, so like we're at the very top of the house.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Edie?
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Disaster relief.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe I should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
It's us. Thought that was a knife for a second. Yeah, she's really, really pregnant.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Eesh.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom said the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your story. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you. But there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
What the? I literally was walking straight.
I started seeing things.
She gonna like witness everybody's like death? Or see everybody, I guess, from the past?
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
Like what?
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
That actually scared me.
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
Hey, I'm actually doing this.
We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened
Gross.
pretty quickly.
Dawn Finch.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Fench left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
Oh. What the?
This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself.
Yeah, I think we're about to meet in a second.
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
What? Well, I mean, it was a pretty sad ending, but I'm not crying. I cried for Last Day of June though. That game, dude, got me real good. Let's skip this now. I thought it was gonna end. Hey. Oh. Pretty cool game. Wasn't too bad. Since like that was the end of it, if you did want to see the beginning, I have my throat. I have the first half in a playlist, like an unlisted video, but it's in a playlist on the channel. You just go to the channel, there's a playlist, and you literally click on it, and yeah. I think I'm gonna end the stream here. It was a pretty short stream, it was only 30 minutes. I thought like the stories were gonna be more dragged out or drawn out, but they kind of clumped those last two into one. And yeah, plus I'm like really tired, but I will see you guys next time. I might see you guys tomorrow, I don't know. I'm trying to get a video out either tomorrow, Saturday, or try to do Sunday for sure, but we'll see. Yeah, stay awesome.